Welcome to the audio portion of The Ultimate Guide to Texting Girls by Matt Artisan, presented to you by The Attractive Man. This guide will give you all the basics of texting women and plenty of actual text messages that you can send to girls right away. Now keep in mind that texting is just another tool for your proverbial tool belt. You don't necessarily need to text girls. I've had plenty of interactions with women that went really, really well, and I didn't even text her at all. I just called her up the next day after I met her and set up a date that way, and that can work. But as we know, many women, pretty much all women, text these days. So let's get started. All right, some of the basics about texting. Texting is used to reinitialize contact. It's used to set up a date, build attraction and comfort, and it can be used to get her on the phone to have an actual conversation or to just set up the date. You can actually set up a date through text. Now, when should you text? As a basic idea, you should text her within 24 hours of meeting her so that she remembers as much as possible from the first interaction. Generally, if I meet a girl during the day, I like to send the text usually within 5 minutes of meeting her. That way she really remembers, because usually during the day I'm going to have like maybe a 2-minute interaction with her. I'm going to keep it really short and sweet, so I want to text her right away. At nighttime, I'll probably wait. Maybe I'll text her that night, or I'll text her the next day. Because you don't want to wait a couple days, because then she's not going to remember who you are. The attraction's not going to be as high as if you text her really quickly. So next, use callback humor. You want to use humor from the initial interaction. Callback humor is basically when you refer to humorous topics or events that happened in the first interaction or in the previous interaction with her. So this will bring her back to that same emotional state that she was in when you met her. So if you're at a club and she's having a great time and you make a joke, when you text her the next day, bring back that joke. Another great way to use callback humor is to use nicknames. So use a nickname that you called her from the first interaction. Here's a couple examples. Girly Face, Sassy Pants, Queen Dork, Nerd or Nerd Ball, Sex Kitten, Sex Ninja. Those are a little bit more sexual, obviously. Crazy Girl, Otter Pop, Glitter Princess, Goober. You can think of a million. You can even rhyme the end of your text using a nickname. For example, Peace Out, Girl Scout. And you always want to sign your first text so that she knows who you are. If she didn't save your name or you didn't save your number in her phone, this will avoid her wondering who's texting her. So remember, the idea of texting is to show you're fun and playful, not to be overly serious, and you don't want her wondering who the hell's texting her. Remember, she can't hear your tone of voice, so she could actually take jokes the wrong way. She could take them the wrong way. So it's good to kind of mix it up. What we're going to give you in this guide is mostly jokes, because the serious stuff you can do on your own. But you want to keep the seriousness definitely through texting. You don't want to have a lot of serious conversation. And when I say serious, I just mean normal stuff like, hey, what are you doing? Stuff like that. You want to keep that to a minimum, but it's okay to do that once in a while. All right. When sending a text that could be misinterpreted as maybe too much teasing, or maybe she might think it's mean or negative, you want to use emoticons. Emoticons are those smiley faces or the face with the tongue sticking out, basically a semicolon and a P. Look into the guide. There's a bunch of other examples written down for you. So you want to show different sides of your personality. You want to show her that you're a multidimensional man by showcasing a genuine side, a playful side, a leadership side, and we'll show you that later as well, and a fun and interesting side. And you want to avoid asking too many questions, because women just find that annoying in general, whether it be in the initial interaction when you first meet her. You don't want to go to interview style game where you're just asking her a bunch of questions. And you want to avoid that during text too. You don't want to ask a bunch of questions. We're also going to show you how to ask qualifying questions a little bit later. Now, you want to be unpredictable, you want to be random, you want to be challenging enough to keep her interested. So don't always send long replies. You want to kind of mix it up. Don't send too many long replies. Don't always reply quickly. Don't always be serious. Don't always be joking. Sometimes you should let her end the conversation, and sometimes you end the conversation. When you do too much of the same thing, it appears too predictable. Now, you don't want to try to impress her through text. Don't write her long text about your day or about some crazy thing that happened. That's better for an actual face-to-face interaction or over the phone. Keep your text short and sweet. Okay, be fun, flirty, and interesting from the start. It sets the tone for every text that you send after that. Remember that attractive women get texts from guys all the time, so you really need to stand out. You want to really intrigue her and make her curious about you so that she'll go on a date with you. Now, wording is key. You could text her, "Hey, what's up?" Now, that's not going to set you apart. It's going to be boring, and it's not going to be very original. Or you could text her, "Hey, crazy girl, what kind of trouble are you causing?" Now, that's a little bit better. That's going to cause you to stand out a little bit. Don't use a lot of slang. Don't use too many abbreviations or anything that has multiple interpretations with foreign women, because they probably won't understand it. Tone things down a bit and be a lot more straightforward and to the point with women that, have trouble with the English language if you're talking to foreign women. Don't write super long texts that take 3 or more messages to send. Typical texting is a certain amount of characters. I think it's about 60 or something. I'm not sure. But don't send her, a huge long story that's going to have like 3 or 4 texts from you, because that's going to appear a little bit needy. Remember, the person writing the most is the person that's most invested in the interaction. Same thing when you first meet her. If you're talking 90% of the time and she's only talking 10% of the time, who's more invested? Of course you are. Same thing with text. You don't want to over text or text really long threads. Okay, so why text her instead of just calling her right away? Like I said earlier, it's totally fine to call her maybe the day after you meet her and set up a date. Nothing wrong with that. But if you text her first, it kind of warms things up a little bit because she doesn't have to respond right away. She won't feel any sense of pressure from you. She doesn't have to decide, do I want to talk to this guy right then? If she's busy, she can look at the text and she can reply later. Whereas in a phone call, she has to decide right then and there if she wants to talk to you at that exact moment. And same thing on your side. You don't have to respond right away. You have time to think of a clever or funny response when she texts you back. So it gives you some time management as well. You can text her at any time you want. You can literally, I always joke around, you can literally set up a date with a woman while you're taking a shit. And with some of the iPhone applications, you can meet women and stuff like that at any time, while you're taking a shit, while you're doing errands, hopefully not while you're driving. But it offers a lot of time management. Okay, the texting mindset. You want to send it and forget it. Don't beat yourself up. Don't keep checking your phone to see if she's responded. Don't keep checking your outbox to see if you spelled something wrong or to see if maybe she might have interpreted something the wrong way, because it's just going to drive you crazy. Just send it and move on to something else. So have the mindset that she's having a boring day and it's just your job to cheer her up and make her smile and have a better day. But remember, she doesn't have to respond. So don't get all worked up if she doesn't respond to your text. You don't know what kind of day she's had. Maybe she's had a horrible day or a horrible week. Just don't give up. If she doesn't respond, you can wait a day and then text her again. If you still don't get a response, wait 2 days and text her again. Still no response, wait 3 days, text her again, and so forth. Now, that's just a general rule. Now, if the number goes cold after a few days, she still's not responding, then you can go refer to the guide in the section that is numbers that have gone cold, and there's some great lines that you can text her that will reinitiate the conversation. Now remember, she's not the most important thing in the world. So if you're in the middle of something and she texts you, don't stop doing it. Have an active lifestyle and don't be waiting for her to text you. Don't be needy. Think, what if I had 10 other women in my life? Become a high-value guy who has women in his life. And if you don't, you can fake it till you make it. Okay, let's talk about building attraction through texting. Now, attraction dissolves over time for women. It's kind of like a volume knob. Maybe you had a great first impression and her attraction for you is a 10. Now, if you wait a week and you don't text her, it's going to slowly die down because she's going to meet new people, and just through time, she's going to start forgetting about you. So the idea is to use texting to maintain that attraction that she had for you during that initial interaction until the first date. Attraction can be maintained by using fun text messages that assume a certain level of comfort, contain humor, tease her, are flirty, without being too needy or nice. Now, this is done by text messages that include playful teasing, funny jokes, role-playing, just random, unpredictable texting, and flipping the frame, that's a great one, and role reversals, which is kind of the same thing. What you want to do is you want to anchor these good feelings that she's experiencing when she sees your texts and anchor those to you. So every time she opens her phone and you send her something funny or something that gets a really positive emotional response, she's going to associate those feelings with you, and she's more likely to go on a date with you. Okay, so how do you build comfort through text? Now, don't worry too much about trying to build a whole lot of comfort with her through texting. It's done more in person or talking to her on the phone. If you send her a couple cute, fun text messages that make her smile and maybe tell her something about your day, that's going to build a little comfort. Another thing that builds comfort is mirroring her. Now, the concept of mirroring is basically matching what she's doing without making it obvious. Now, you can do it through texting by matching the way she texts, by using abbreviations that she uses, emoticons, acronyms, etc. It's more important to not break comfort through texting. So I'm going to tell you a couple things that guys do that actually break comfort. So these are things you want to avoid. Texting her too often. If she's not responding too much, you don't want to text her too much. If she is getting annoyed by your texting, you're gonna come off as needy, and it's gonna break comfort. You're probably texting her too much if she doesn't respond, or if her response is always slow, if she doesn't really engage, and she never initiates the conversation, meaning she never texts you first. You're probably texting her enough if she initiates the conversation once in a while, if she always responds pretty quickly and really engages you back, or if she's trying to move things forward, like she asks you out or tells you where she's going to be one night. Now, if you try to make plans too early, that can break comfort too. Comfort often is built through time. The more time that goes by, the more comfort she'll have with you. If she doesn't feel comfortable enough to go on a date with you, then it's better to wait and keep sending fun, playful text messages and call her up on the phone, talk to her on the phone, and build some more comfort. If you respond negatively to something she said, or maybe she didn't want to go out with you, or she flakes on you and you respond negatively, that can break comfort and break attraction. Women will sometimes test you to see how you respond. That way she can decide whether she wants to go on a date with you. And she might send a text that completely throws you off, or she might make plans with you and then break those plans and flake on you. Now, if you text her back something angry or rude, then it shows her that you're deeply affected by what she did. It shows that you must not have a lot of women in your life and that she's so important to you. And that's going to show that you're a weak man who can be easily affected by women. A woman wants a man who gets his self-worth and his happiness dependent from her and her actions. Being too predictable can break comfort as well. If you always respond to her messages right away and you come off as you're just trying too hard and you're too needy, or you don't have anything else going on in your life, that's going to break comfort. Instead, seem to be a little bit of a challenge by responding at various different times. Like sometimes respond right away, sometimes wait a while. Sometimes don't respond at all. Show different sides of your personality too, such as serious side, a joking side, a dominant side, a witty side, etc. So it goes hand in hand with attraction. Attraction and comfort do have a lot of similarities. Okay, being overly nice can break comfort too. And same thing, these all just show that you're a little bit too needy. Being a nice guy isn't necessarily a bad thing at all, but when you seem overly nice and you're supplicating to her, it can come off as if you're just trying to please her. So don't try to accommodate everything for her. Don't be apologetic. Don't seek her approval. Be a man, be a leader, and invite her to things that you're going for. Don't just accommodate, when it comes to setting up a date through text, don't just accommodate her and do whatever she wants to do. Do what you want to do and see if she wants to tag along. Okay, now, when do you text her and how often to text? You don't want to start to overthink about how often or when you should text, because you'll just stress yourself out. But as a general idea, you don't always want to text back in the same duration. Sometimes text her back right away, sometimes wait 10 minutes, sometimes wait a day, sometimes just don't text her back at all. You should have other things going on in your life besides her. And the more numbers that you get and the more you start texting these women that you meet, the more you'll get a better feeling for the balance. As a general note, don't text women between the hours of 8 p.m. and 1 a.m. on the weekends, Friday and Saturday, because it'll make you appear like you just don't have anything going on the weekend. And you want to be a high-value guy who has a lot of things going for himself, a lot of things going on. Now, of course, there's exceptions to the rule. If you are trying to get her to come over that night, if you're trying to get a booty call, there's certain text messages that work in those situations as well. And we'll get into that. The first text you send a woman that you just met should be within 24 hours of meeting her. If you wait longer than 24 hours, like I said earlier, the attraction that she felt with you will start to diminish slightly, depending on how much attraction she had. If she was really attracted, it's okay. You could wait a week. Obviously, I wouldn't recommend that. As a general rule, don't wait longer than a day. All right, so let's get into some actual text messages that you can use. We're going to start off with first text openers. So these are meant to be sent within the first 24 hours of meeting her. The first one is by a guy named Adam Lyons, and it works really well for women that you meet during the day, and you want to send this within 10 minutes or even 5 minutes of meeting her. So it's, hey cutie, so random meeting you just now. Are you always so friendly to strangers? Now, hey cutie is showing your interest in her, because during the day, I recommend you go direct if it's a girl, especially if she's by herself. So random meeting you just now will remind her that you are this random guy that she just met. Now, why is that a good thing? If you talk to women and you ask women where they'd rather meet a guy, a lot of times, most of the time, they'll say during the day. They want some random guy to come up to them and sweep them off their feet. Are you always so friendly to strangers? Is a small qualifying question, and it just compels her to respond. It'll get her to thinking, well, am I friendly to strangers? And sometimes she'll respond with something like, well, only cute guys. So it kind of gives you an idea of how attracted is she. If she says something like that, she's pretty attracted. Okay, next. For this one, we're going to have to back up and talk about what you're going to have to say after you get her number. So let's say you got her number. Now you say, I'm going to text you something so you have my number. I think I'm going to text you something naughty. And she might say, ooh, I like that. And that's good. You know you have a really sexual girl on your hands. But a lot of times she'll say, okay, sure. Or she'll say, no, don't text me something naughty. And if she says that, just say, nope, I'm going to text you something naughty. And then walk away. And then within about 5 minutes or less, text her the word something and the word naughty. And maybe a smiley face. And that's great because it's going to set a sexual frame. And at the same time, it's not going to be creepy. She might have thought when you said that, well, okay, this guy was cool up until this point. But then when you send the text, she's going to be like, oh, it's just a joke. And it's going to totally crack her up. So it's funny. And it sets a sexual frame. So I really like that one. Some other ones, are you textually active? Or you could send her, are you textually active? Because I'm thinking about making you my new text partner. Haha. Now that's a good one too, because it still sets that sexual frame, that textual frame. Now, a couple more that aren't as sexual. Do you speak text? Now remember, sign your name if she didn't save your number. Hey, it's your name. I've decided to make you my new texting buddy. congrats. That's slightly cocky. Last one, I have a confession, or I have a secret. Now that you can send at any time, not just for a first text. And it's compelling because she's obviously going to wonder what's the secret, what's the confession. And you can follow up with something like, well, you kind of impressed me. Keep up the good work. Or you kind of impressed me tonight. Or you're kind of cute, but don't get any ideas. Notice how it's a push-pull. I say, you're kind of cute. I pull her in. Then I say, well, but don't get any ideas. I push her away. And we'll talk about push-pull a little bit more in a second. Okay, so what to send her the same night you meet her? You want to be careful. If you just had a short interaction with her, you don't want to send something overly sweet, or it could seem a little too needy, like you didn't meet anybody else that night. If you had a really good interaction with her, and maybe you built a lot of comfort, you could text her something that's more assuming a lot of comfort, such as sweet dreams, cutie, or hope you got home safe. Those are fine for those kind of situations. But now if you want to actually see her that night, which is a really good idea, because a lot of times, especially depending on where you live, a lot of women will meet up at somebody's house and they all carpool together to the bar or the club. Meaning there's a designated driver and all the girls came together and all the girls have this pact that they're all going to leave together. If that's the case, then at around 2 a.m. or maybe even 3 a.m. after they get home, text her something that will reinitiate the conversation or reinitiate some textual dialogue in hopes of her coming over to your house after she got dropped off by her friends or after she dropped off her friends. So you could text her, so bottom line, you kind of impressed me tonight and I don't get impressed very often. Keep up the good work. So this is a slight push-pull. You're showing your interest, but you're also showing that she's going to have to work hard. It's slightly cocky, funny. Works really well. Now you can also text her anything random. I got this from a couple guys named Czar and Hydro. Milkshakes at 2 a.m. rock. Text her milkshakes at 2 a.m. rock. Or something that you're doing. I don't care if it's Taco Bell or wherever you went. Just something to reinitialize the conversation without asking her a question. First want to see where she's at. If you say milkshakes at 2 a.m. rock and she says, ooh, that sounds great. Now see what that does. If you send her milkshakes at 2 a.m. rock, she might text you back, really, that sounds great, or something like that, and you can have her come meet you there, and then from there you can go back to your place. Okay, so next are random text openers. These can be used as first text openers or any time you want to text her. It could be the day after you met her, it could be a week, it could be a month, it's anytime you want to text her. How's my favorite little brat doing? Any nickname that's teasing, like brat, punk, playa. I like flaya, which is a female playa. Nerd or herd, which is a hot nerd. Geek are great because they're fun. People that give nicknames are usually people that are close, like your brother, sister, or close friend. Next, how's my third favorite little brat doing? And this shows that you have a lot of women in your life. So how's my third favorite brat doing? Next, I just made you open your phone for no reason. Looks like I got you in check. So it's a little cocky funny. Next, hey nerd, I just saw the funniest X and thought of you. Now X can be anything. The idea is that it's callback humor, something from the initial interaction. Next, this one's great. Especially if you showed her that you're a pretty funny guy and pretty playful. Okay, here it is. It's me, your cell phone that is, not wanting anything in particular right now, just wanted to get out of your pocket. It stinks down there. Next, I hope you're smiling. If not, just think of me. Slightly cocky funny. If you're not smiling, then you're not thinking of me. That's just another variation. All right, now for some more cocky funny. Hey, my best friend just called and said he saw a goofball running down the street in her shit-stained underwear. Call me if you need a ride. There's another one. I heard on the news someone checked into the psych ward wearing only a thong and riding a goat. I'll call and get you, but this shit has to stop. So these are all kind of role plays. They're subtle role plays. You're kind of knocking her down a few pegs. And really hot women love that because they're so used to guys just putting them on a pedestal. Here you are putting them off their pedestal and showing that you view them as just, you know, a regular person, almost like your kid sister. You're teasing her just like you'd tease anybody else. Next is, I felt you should know the Snapple fact of the day. Your eyes expand up to 45% when you're looking at something pleasing. Now I know why you're all bug-eyed when I'm around. Okay, next one. What are you doing besides missing me and doodling hearts on a piece of paper? This one's great because it actually brings her back to when she was a little girl and she had her first crush and she used to draw hearts on her notebook. Every woman has done that. I know you're thinking about me, so I thought I should say hi. You can text her, so are you in love with me yet? And she'll text you something like, no, not yet, or wow, you're cocky. Doesn't matter what she says, but follow that up with, wow, you're lasting longer than I thought. Give it a few more minutes, with a smiley face. Keep in mind that all these should have a smiley face at the end, so she knows that you're joking. You can just text her the word congratulations, and she'll respond with, what are you talking about? And then you respond back with, I was just thinking of you. Congratulations. Okay, last one that's cocky funny is, today is holy shit you're hot day. Send this to someone you know who is hot. Just not to me. I've been getting this text all day. Okay, next category is bait and switch. I call this bait and switch because you're baiting her to think you're totally into her and then you switch to being more cocky funny. So these are similar to the last category, but at first you make her think that you're kind of lame or that you're way too into her. Okay, number one. Maybe it's the booze talking, but I want you to know I love booze. You can use that the same night you meet her too. Especially if you guys are drinking together, you can send that the same night. It'd be great. Okay, next one. Those innocent eyes, those juicy lips, a great smile, that awesome bod. So hot. But enough about me. What are you up to? That one's really good. Next. Hey, I really miss you and I want to see you badly, but this dumbass security guard won't let me in the zoo. Can you escape? Next are role reversal texts. These texts reverse the typical courting frame that the guy is chasing after the girl. Instead, you're implying that she's chasing after you. And women will usually respond positively to these because it's the opposite of what every other guy does. And oftentimes, women will go along with the role reversal. Okay, number one. I just don't think we should do this anymore. Sometimes you make me feel like a piece of meat. Ew, stop thinking about me. I can feel your thoughts all over me, pervert. Hey, sex ninja, or any nickname that you have. Orgy starts at 10. Be there early so you can get me while I'm still fresh. After she responds, doesn't matter what she says, respond with, guess you'll have to settle with what you can get then. If she ever texts you, guess what? You can respond with, you want to get me drunk so you can take advantage of me. You are so naughty. And that's really great because it sets up a naughty frame that she's the sexual aggressor. Okay, next category is push-pull. It's one of the best tools when it comes to women and dating because the concept is very simple. If you push too much and you're too aloof, if you push her away, you're going to push her away too much and she's going to lose interest. But if you're too much of a challenge. But on the flip side, if you pull her in too much and you're not a challenge at all, and you compliment her too much or tell her that you like her all the time, she'll lose interest too because you're not a challenge at all. So when you put the two together, you can maintain a really good balance of showing interest and being a challenge. And it's a really powerful tool, and you can do it through texting. So here's a couple examples. Number one, out of all the, let's say her name's Sarah. Out of all the Sarahs I know, I think you're my favorite. So this also shows some pre-selection, and maybe we'll get her a little jealous too. Next, you just popped into my head, so hi, now please stay out of there. Next, hey, I was just thinking about you, wish you were here, ... so you could cook me something and do my dishes. Make sure you have an emoticon after that, like a smiley face or a tongue sticking out. Hey, I was just thinking about you, wish you were here, ... so you could fetch me a drink and give me a foot massage. You just popped into my head, you must be using some weird ninja magic on me. I'm onto it, but I'm not going to let it slide. Next are role-playing text messages. Women love role-playing because it's fun and will make you stand out from the other guys. Most of the time, women will respond back and they'll actually start role-playing with you. Okay, any vacation is a good role-play. So I'm bored, let's go to Vegas and get married by the fattest Elvis impersonator we can find. Make it interesting. Okay, next, hey, I decided where we're going to eat tonight. Start looking for a strip club that sells food and has amateur night. You're going to win us some grub. From there, you can go into a stripper name kind of routine. She'll laugh and say, if you were a stripper, what would your stripper name be? And then you can start calling her that name. Next, let's fly to Las Vegas, get married, argue about our third kid's name. You're my new text message girlfriend for the next 5 minutes. And then in 5 minutes send, oh, now we're broken up. It's not you, it's me. It was fun though. 5 minutes after that send, oh, now I kind of miss you. I'll do whatever it takes to get you back. Next, hey, I've been thinking, want to rob a bank with me? Now from that you want to follow up with something like, seriously, I need a partner. Are you driving or shooting? Okay, last one. Burr, it's cold here. Think it's warm in Bahamas? And then from there you can go into, okay, pack your bags, I'll pick you up in 5 minutes. Okay, next, these are just some random text messages. These can be, you can text her pretty much at any time with these. Snapple fact of the day, 1 minute kiss burns 26 calories. I make Mondays feel like Fridays. Keep in mind that still could go into the cocky funny category. And then any kind of joke is good. Anytime a corny joke. Like here's an example. I've got this problem. I need your help with it. Why was the Energizer Bunny arrested? And the answer is he was charged with battery. So any joke will do. If you came home to find someone's sex toys on your sofa, how are you supposed to react? You know what I hate? When you're minding your own business, then bam, you're being attacked by flying monkeys. And she'll respond with something like, I didn't know monkeys could fly, or what the hell are you talking about? Follow up with, that's what makes it so hateful. I never expected it. Or I knew it. You're one of those flying monkey lovers, aren't you? It's just something really out of the blue. But it's going to set you apart from other guys who are so logical and just send her, hey, what's up? Or what are you doing? It's going to crack her up. Okay, last one is 6 truths in your life. Number 1, you can't lick all your teeth with your tongue. Number 2, you're an idiot because you just tried to prove truth number 1. Number 3, truth number 1 is a lie. Number 4, now you're smiling because you're a goof. Number 5, you'll send it to another idiot in the near future. Number 6, you're still smiling. So that's kind of a long one, but it's still pretty fun. All right, next we're going to go into qualification. Qualification questions are questions that show that you're testing her to see if she actually meets your standards. So qualification through texting is best done in a more playful way, and you don't want to overdo it. When you qualify a woman, it shows that you're high value, because only a high value man with a lot of women and a lot of options in his life would actually screen and qualify a beautiful woman. So here's an example. After you meet her, maybe you send an initial text, and then after that you send her make it or break it question. And it can be anything. I like this or that questions. Here's a couple examples: chocolate or vanilla, ninjas or pirates. So it's make it or break it question, ... ninjas or pirates. Another example is, are you good at back rubs or foot rubs or anything? Are you good at cooking? So basically, again, you're just testing her to see if she meets your standards. But you're doing it in kind of a joking way. Like, which do you prefer, pillow fights or bedtime stories? Cheetos or s'mores? Anything like that. Okay, now a couple of flirty text messages. So these show a little bit of interest, but they're in a more interesting way. So you could text her, you smell ... and she'll respond with something like delicious or tasty. And then you respond with, wow, it's like we even finish each other's sentences. This is a great one for Valentine's Day. You make me feel like a pudgy, naked, winged child has shot an arrow into my chest cavity. Now be careful, don't send these too soon, or it could come off a little weird. Make sure there's a lot of attraction and some comfort first. Thinking about you and taking cold showers. That's a good one if there's sexual tension already. And then this one's great. I just wanted to start your week off on a high note by saying hi. So without further ado, hi. Might sound a little stupid, but trust me, it works. And it's a little cocky at the same time. Okay, now we've all dealt with women that were basically impossible to actually get them on the phone to have a conversation with. So here's a couple text messages that are great for transitioning from texting her to talking to her on the phone. Okay, number 1. This texting thing is giving me carpal tunnel. Call me. Number 2. This one's really good. Where are you? I have a top secret mission for you. That always gets a response. Then you text her, the super hot guy is going to call you. You must pick up for further instructions. And then call her in about 5 minutes. She doesn't pick up. I probably wouldn't leave a message. I would just text her, abort mission. I think you have a confession to make. Call me if you want to know what it is. That's really good because it's really compelling. Okay, now you're probably wondering, what is the confession? What do you tell her? So when she calls you, or you can call her, you could also say, I think you have a confession to make. I'm going to call you. And then call her, maybe in 10 minutes. And then when she asks, well, what's the confession? Say, well, I got out of the shower yesterday, and I saw you peeping through my window, and I think you're trying to sneak a peek at me, you pervert. And make sure you say it in a very playful way. But that'll get her cracking up. And oftentimes, she'll start role-playing with it. She'll say, yeah, you're right, I was trying to sneak a peek. You caught me. And that's great, because you're creating a sexual frame that she's the sexual aggressor. And that's how you escalate. That's how you can escalate things really quickly. Okay, this is funny. I kind of got this idea from Brad P. I'm going to be busy for the next 10 minutes, so I'm going to have my assistant Fritz give you a call. And then you call her from your phone and talk to her in a gay German accent, such as, yeah, this is Fritz. Artisan is busy right now, but he wanted me to give you a call and schedule appointment so you meet with him. I don't know how good my accent was on that. I think I started turning into a Chinese guy at the end, but you get the idea. It'll just crack her up. It's going to be totally different than any other guy. Okay, next. Going for a date. Believe it or not, you can actually set up dates through text messaging. I've done it plenty of times. I prefer to set up a date with a woman that I actually talk to on the phone because she's less likely to flake out on me. Plus, if you call a woman and you can build attraction and comfort through the phone and it's not weird and awkward, she knows, okay, if I go on a date with him, it's going to be pretty fun. On the flip side, if you call her and it's weird and awkward, she's not going to go on a date with you because she knows the date's going to be weird and awkward. But for some women, you can't get them on the phone. They just don't like to talk on the phone these days. They only do texting. So here's a couple ways of transitioning to actually either setting up the date or starting to talk about the date through texting. Okay, number one, if we don't hang out soon, then I'm going to start cheating on you. So this works really good after you've done like a marriage role play. Okay, next we're going to be at X bar tonight. You and your friends should stop by. And X is the name of the bar, of course. Party at wherever tonight. Be cool, come with me. So these are just very short text messages. You can send these as mass texts if you're talking to a couple girls at that time. Send it out, oh, man, I'll send it out to 30, 40 different girls, and you know, you get a couple responses and a couple of them will meet you. Saturday, party, me, be there or be square. Now this is kind of hard to explain. It's better if you look at it in the guide. It's actually SAT period, party period, me period, be there or be, and then you draw a picture of a square. Next, I'll have my interns pencil you in for next week. Where are you? I have a top secret mission for you. We discussed that one before. You can use the same thing to actually meet her. Hey, we're going to be at X bar Friday night. Your mission, if you choose to accept it, is to show up between the hours of 11 p.m. and 2 a.m. This message will self-destruct in 30 seconds. See you there. Next, tomorrow's going to be the best night of your life. She'll ask why. You say, because I'm going to let you hang out with me. Or something along those lines. You could say, because we're going to hang out. And you just assume she's going to come with you. Next, I've thought about it long and hard, and I've decided to shave my head and be a monk in a monastery. Saturday is my last day of freedom. Let's meet up before then. Next, hey goofball, X bar Friday night. Be there or we're breaking up, and I'm not taking you back this time. I'm signing the divorce papers and fighting for full custody. So again, this works really good after a marriage role play. Last, actually there's a couple more. Your Lost Princess, epic night. I'm busy all next week. This is great if you've called her and she didn't pick up. Then you can text her this. Next, I need some female attention. Come over. This is if you've already slept with her, there's a lot of sexual tension, and you basically just tell her, come over. Notice how none of these you're asking her out. None of these you're saying, hey, do you want to hang out? You never ask. Always just assume you're a man, be a leader, and just tell her that we're hanging out. Say, okay, I got something going on Saturday. Would you like to accompany me? If not, got a sister? Ha ha ha. Now, this one kind of goes against what I just said, but you kind of become cocky funny at the end with if not, got a sister. Be careful with that one. You know, there's got to be a lot of attraction, a lot of playfulness going on. You have to get your ass over here. It's crazy. This is if you're already at an event, you can send something like that. And then you can ask qualifying questions that lead into asking her out or telling her that she's going to hang out with you, such as red or white wine, or tequila or vodka, beer or mixed drinks. And then from there you could say, oh, I know this great place that serves those kind of drinks. Next, turning things sexual. If you want to turn things sexual, it's best to do it in a funny, playful way, just like everything else. This shows that you're a sexual person, and it's usually easier to transition to sex during the first date if she already knows that you're a sexual guy. But be careful, because you don't want to come off as a pervert. Remember, she can't hear the way you're intending to say it. So these ones are kind of play it a little bit safe, where she won't necessarily think you're just trying to bone her. Okay, today is FUCK day. Friends you can keep. I just fucked you. You know you liked it. So FUCK whomever you want. You better FUCK me back. LOL. So obviously it's done in a very joking way, but it still sets up that sexual frame. This one's great. You just text her, "What the hell?" And she'll text back, "Huh?" And then you say, "You told your friends that you just wanted to bang my brains out and use me for sex. Tisk tisk. I thought you were different." So this is also a role reversal, but it sets up that sexual frame. Okay, and then these last ones are used if you've already slept with her, or there's already a lot of sexual tension. "Hey, I've been thinking we're going to need a safe word, and it shouldn't be more. Don't get too horny without me." Next one, this one's credit to Boogie. "Come over to MySpace and I'll Twitter, my Yahoo, and Google all over your Facebook." And then if you've already slept with her, after she leaves your house, text her, "I can still feel you." Okay, so sometimes women will test you because they want to see how you're going to respond. They want to see if you will respond positively or if you're going to be all butthurt. The idea here is to be unaffected. Examples of shit tests that women might send are you gay? I have a boyfriend. I want you to take me somewhere really nice. I want you to buy me drinks tonight. Something like that. So here's a couple ways of responding. LOL, you're cracking me up right now. So the idea is that you're unaffected. You're just taking it as a joke. Another one, you're too adorable. What are we going to do with you? Next, I don't know who your last boyfriend was, but he didn't spank you enough. Next, 2 billion years of evolution, and that's the best you can come up with. Next, well, you're still my favorite little brat. Well, at least in the top 5. And last one, that's minus 2 cool points. Okay, so if she doesn't answer back, or she hasn't been answering back lately, as a general rule, you want to wait a day, then text her again. If she doesn't respond to that, wait 2 days, then try again. If still no response, wait 3 days, and so forth. Now, after that, you can text her something like this. You can assume that it was you that didn't respond back to her, and you send something like, "Sorry, I forgot to get back to you. I was whatever, something high value. I just got back from an amazing trip in Europe. Sorry I didn't get back to you." Next, you failed the text message reflex test. Next, you are the worst texter back ever. I'm putting you on text probation. And those are both those were created by Sin. It's no surprise that women will sometimes flake on you. So sometimes they're just testing you to see if you're going to freak out and get all mad. Sometimes it's legit. Something comes up in life. But if you respond all negatively and act like you're unaffected, then she's probably not going to go on a date with you. So you want to be that guy that has many options, and if a girl flakes on you, it's no big deal. So here's some examples of what you can text her if she flakes. You could say, "No biggie, thanks for letting me know. I can take someone else." This is if she cancels on you. Another one, if she cancels, "No biggie, I'll wait to see how you make it up to me before I pass judgment." That one can come off as harsh, so be careful. That's minus 5 cool points. And as a bonus, you could say, I got this from Vince Kelvin of Seduction Coaching. You could say, "What? I canceled my meeting with Angelina Jolie for you. ... Just kidding." So you show that, you make it kind of funny and show that, hey, it's no big deal. Next, let's talk about numbers that have gone cold. So these are phone numbers that maybe you haven't talked to the girl in months or even years. It's a good idea to keep every number that you get because you can always try to reinitiate the contact in the future. These texts are used as a last-ditch effort for numbers where the communication just died or the woman hasn't been responding, or maybe you were busy and you lost interest, but you just want to try one last time. "Hey, just been sorting out my phone book and found that I have 3, whatever her name is. Which one are you? The crazy one, the hot one, or the shy, suggestive one?" And this also shows that you have a lot of women in your life and could create a little bit of jealousy. Next, I just met your twin. Next, these are actually meant to be like you sent it to the wrong person. So here it is. Yeah, it's big. Hey, and put the wrong name. So let's say her name is Jennifer. Hey, Jenna, come over. The key is in the normal spot. Just wake me up when you get here. Now you want to send this during the booty call hour, which is about 1 a.m. to 3 a.m. So it shows that you're sexually desirable by other women. Hey, I found your shirt that you left here. Couple more. You were in my dream last night. Weird. Oh my God, just saw the craziest thing. Totally reminded me of you. This one's a little bit cocky funny. Wanted to touch bases in case you got rich. Next, oh my God, I just came home to my house to discover an infestation of Smurfs. What should I do? So basically anything super random will work. All right, that's it. If you guys have any questions, email me at info@theattractiveman.com. Also, send me an email to schedule your free 30-minute one-on-one phone or Skype session. You can get all your questions answered about texting and calling women. We can also talk about any other sticking point you have. We can talk about day game, night game, online game, whatever it is, inner game. All right, good luck, guys, and I'll talk to you soon.